Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Division High School Sports Beat. It's time now for the High School Notebook brought to you by Dunkin. America runs on Dunkin. Joining us as always, Paul Gotham from PickinSplinters.com. Paul, what do you got on the site right now?
We're going to have full coverage of the Rap Classic down at East High, 6 games starting at noon. Plenty of great games, plenty of great talent. We'll have John LeConge, Wilveridge Langan, and myself covering all the action, bringing it to everybody so that they can read about it. Top 10 polls now on Pickin Splinters. You can get those every Monday morning. A bunch of local media people and insiders voting. We had over 20 votes on the first poll, and so we'll continue that for the rest of the season.
Paul, we spent a lot of time talking about the boys. Let's talk a little girls hoops action right now.
Well, we certainly had a great game between Penfield and Mendon and the Penfield girls. Mendon coming in undefeated, number 1 in the state, Class A. Penfield coming in number 8 in the state, Double A. Two teams that won't meet in sectional times, but they certainly give you a sectional-like sort of atmosphere. Penfield comes away with the big win on the road, and you certainly, when you sit back and you watch that Penfield team, everything starts with their defense. A lot of teams, particularly high school teams, like to talk about their defense, but more of their defense ends up being defense out of urgency, and it's the last 4 minutes of the game when they're down by 8 points, and all of a sudden you can see how well they play. Penfield girls, Mark Vogt has that team. They understand the importance of every possession defensively and offensively. You don't get easy buckets against them. They're great in defensive transition, but then on offense, you talk about balanced efforts there. You've got Bailey Teal leading the point, running the point, and able to hit from long range. You got Naira Simmons inside, who's a strong player there. And then you got Brianne Moxley out on the perimeter. Brianne Moxley can hit from the 3. She's also a great driver. She's a slasher. She can get to the basket. You look at that team, they can score in so many different ways. They have so many different players who can score, but they also they do a great job of turning defense into points at the other end of the floor. They run a good organized break and get early opportunities there. And they also create a lot of buckets off their inbound plays. That team is going to be quite a battle to have to play them. They're matching up against Bishop Kearney here in a couple weeks. Please save me the space along the baseline because I want to be there for that one.
Now let's go back to boys and talk about one of the teams that kind of has been under the radar for a lot of people, and that'd be Irondequoit.
And they shouldn't be under the radar. I mean, we have the 2-time Class A1 sectional champions. They won the states 2 years ago and returned to the semis last year. Of course, everybody's thinking Gerald Drumgould leaves the program, goes out to La Lumiere, and they're thinking they're going to be down a little bit. And this is no surprise, but they're 3-1. Or 8-1, I'm sorry, going into this weekend's action. And there's certainly, you look at this team and you look at a kid like Patrick Thomas, and to watch him develop over the last couple years. Last year, Patrick Thomas was a rebound and putback kid. He was a kid that when Freddie June got in the lane and dished off, that's how he was going to score. Suddenly now, Patrick Thomas is a kid that you have to defend him 15 to 17 feet from the basket because he can knock down a jumper on you. He can hit shots, but he's also a shooter, and there's a difference between the two. It shows a lot about the development that he's been through with Chris Carden and with Chris Carden's staff there at Irondequoit. You're going to have to beat the Eagles in order to win sectionals in Class A1.
All right, sounds great. Great stuff as always. Paul will be back with more of the Division High School Sports Beat right after this.